Sorta, kinda.
So we're kind of still going. Yeah, they are now. Okay, thank you. Welcome, everybody. And we're going to call this meeting to order. Please stand and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda is amendment, approval of the agenda. Anything to amend?
I do have one thing to add, a letter of agreement between the county and Teamsters Local number 223 regarding payment to dispatch. We had to modify the agreement a little bit, so I've got...
So 6E, add it to discussion action?
Sure. Yeah, yes, please.
Teamsters is...
Teamsters, yeah, Teamsters letter of agreement.
Anything else, gentlemen?
None by me.
Jake?
None by myself.
All right. Then I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second it?
All right, all in favor say yes.
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 Motion carries 3-0. This is it, the big day, election of Board of Commissioners officers for 2024.
Yes, it is.
Yearly.
So, we shoot for chair first,
Sure.
then vice second.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll move for Brad to take chair.
I'll second that motion. You can hear the train a coming. Whoop, whoop.
Any discussion?
No discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
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 Okay.
Motion carries 3-0. So, sir, if you'll stand up,
Are we
we will
switching seats?
we will switch seats.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the hot seat. I say congratulations on that. I'll take this over here. And oops. Did you drink out of your water?
I did not.
Okay. I spit in mine, so I wouldn't drink that one. There you go. The chair is yours.
All right, I guess we go to vice chair next.
I'll move for John to be vice chair.
Wow.
Don't have to switch seats.
Well, you don't have to anyhow. You could be vice chair and sit over there.
Oh, it's good.
The gray man.
We need a second.
I'm not going to second it.
Well, I'll second it then.
Discussion, my discussion, you don't want to be vice chair? Okay, that's fine.
You sure?
Hmm?
All right. Any discussion?
No, I'm good.
So, motion and a second. All in favor?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes. All right, chair or vice chair?
I got in trouble for saying yep in the courtroom. You don't say yep to the judge, right, Ted?
You try not
It's
to.
yes or no. Yeah, anyway.
All right.
Just testing out our new chair.
Yeah, there you go. Don't let him get away with it.
Did you have any public comment slips, John?
Nope.
No, but I saw, did you want a public comment?
Can I have it back?
Yeah, sure.
I wrote on it.
This is where I gotta start being quiet.
Yeah.
All right, so just a reminder on the public comments, since this is a business meeting and not a workshop or a town hall, the public comments are limited to 3 minutes. And there is I believe Natasha does have a timer, or I think there's a red light up there that'll be an indicator of what the time is. So we will move forward to agenda item 4, which is public comments, and we have one request, and ma'am, it's up to you.
Can I have that piece of paper back?
Sure.
Could we
Betcha.
also have her name for the record?
Yeah, and you'll need to state your name for the record to help Natasha. She's running our video part
I'm
of
not
our
one,
meeting.
much of a one for public speaking, so we'll make this quick and easy. I'm here to talk about the animal shelter, and I won't say much. I'm in support of the legal and moral.
Excuse me, ma'am, could we have your name, please?
My name is Monday Adams, and I'm in support of the legal and moral responsibilities of the county for animal control and shelter. I would like to see things go back to the way they were when the county was running them.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, no other public comments, so we'll move on to agenda item 5, which is the consent agenda.
Move approval?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
And yes. And that takes us to item 6, discussion action items. 6A is first, and that is the jail inspection discussion, and that's Lieutenant Crone.
Good evening, everyone. For the record, Lieutenant Jeremy Crone, I'm the jail commander for the Curry County Jail. Just some background, every 2 years, the jail goes through the jail inspection, and that consists of various members of other sheriff's office coming down and looking at our policies and procedures and comparing them to what's required by Oregon law and the Oregon jail standards. Our inspection came in, or their inspectors came down October 4th, right in the middle of the ransomware recovery, and went through all of our policy and procedures. They did a tour of the jail, talked to the people in custody there and everything. They noted that the facility is very well ran, and I account that to the team that I have, all 15 deputies at the sheriff's office. We run a great jail, honestly. We treat people humanely there, and that's a big thing. The AIC, or the adults in custody there, they talk highly of our facility, even though it's old and aging and things are breaking down. So I put 15 minutes, but we'll cut it as short as we can. We were fully compliant with all 319 standards. A lot of that was part of the ransomware attack. We didn't have all the documents that showed 2 years of our inspection cycle, so it was just what we had in the 6 months leading up to it. It takes about a year to get ready for this inspection with 319 standards, and I could not have done it, like I said, without the deputies working as hard as they could, and the team that we had in the middle of the ransomware attack to get us internet capabilities back and start rebuilding our forms. A couple of things that were noted on here that I wanted to bring up. The facility's aging, and there are some maintenance issues there. This last week I talked to Charles, and we went through a priority list and kind of what we're doing forward. There's nothing in that facility that's ADA required or ADA compliant, but we were able to take some steps, and this last week I was able to secure funds for grab bars throughout the facility, and those will be installed as soon as they come in. But really, once we get everything going, we'll have Charles in there. We'll be doing some maintenance and making the facility as good as it can be for its age. But I just want to let you guys know we are fully compliant. We passed what's called the Department of Corrections inspection as well. That's the 14 required things that you have to do to run a jail, and we passed that with flying colors. So, sorry if I put 15 minutes and only spent 5 of it, but
Good
if
job.
there are any questions or discussion about it, we can.
Means you get invited back.
I do have one question. So you said the county jail was inspected by the grand jury. How does that work?
So much like the commissioner's inspection, they will make an appointment with me, and then the district attorney will bring the grand jury over. We'll do a tour.
Oh, okay.
Answer any questions that they have. Most of the time, people on grand jury, they see a jail from TV, and they are amazed that it is nothing like you see on TV.
Yeah.
So
So Jeremy, when they do the walkthrough like we did, they're getting exposed to some of the maintenance issues as well, and hopefully getting a real good visual of some of the major problems that we have.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Anybody that comes through the jail, we keep the jail in what's called inspection ready. So that's as clean as it can be for what it is. Everything's put away as orderly as it can. They get the same tour that you guys get. If anyone has questions, we answer them.
I've been trying to stay out of that jail my whole life, so I haven't been in it yet.
Well,
Ed, I invite you to come over and we'll.
I almost got it when I was 16, but I managed to avoid it.
You can't be there when you're 16. So.
All right.
Lieutenant Crone, I just say, I read through the inspection, and honestly, when I was initially going, I was walking very gingerly through the report because I was concerned, right, that there was going to be, I just know the status of our jail, I know the condition of our jail, and to see that, that your team had pulled together, even in the comments, it had mentioned, how well the team pulled this inspection and together, and the ownership that your group is taking into that facility was obviously very much well appreciated and documented in that report. Yeah. And so to have 319 standards and to hit the mark on every single standard is a testament to you, your team, and the whole crew over there. So congratulations.
Thank you. I know the one thing going into this, it was an uphill battle. We had change of command staff, ransomware, lost everything. Coming out of it, especially with the new year, we are going with the mantra that we run a jail for our friends, family, and neighbors, and that's a true testament to what's in this report. Everybody in there is a friend, a family, or a neighbor to everybody here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That is what we're doing.
Well, hopefully some good came out of that cyber attack from the jail perspective. I know we've made a lot of good improvements, so hopefully we can keep going in that direction.
Yep, that is our hope for this year.
All right.
Keep going up.
Yep.
Thanks, LT.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is discussion action item B, which is 4-H Extension Service District Letters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Cheryl McDonald with the OSU Extension Service, and I'm the Administrative Office Manager as well as a Budget Officer for our service district. And I brought in a couple of letters from our fiscal review company, HMW out of Coos Bay, and it's required because the three of you commissioners are half of our budget committee, that the management letters are signed, and then I turn them in back to them, and then they file their report with the state.
You want me to take those?
You guys don't have them? I have another copy.
No, you're fine.
I brought some in.
I have them in the packet.
We
you
have them,
do?
we'll get them
Yeah.
signed.
Okay.
Okay. And so I'm here to address any questions, hopefully you have. If it's going deep into accounting, I may or may not be able to do that, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to.
So if you recall, at the beginning of the budget cycle last year,
Yep.
they came in and presented their budget
Yeah.
and figures were accurate, and so it's just a formality to follow up on their
Yeah.
behalf.
Perfect. No.
And we're required to have a review. Next year, the next budget, when they do the fiscal year '23 review, I need to find a different entity to do that review. I want to try to piggyback in with some of the stuff at the county with their audit. A lot of the other service districts, extension service districts throughout the state do that. They're kind of in with the county review, and then of course, we pay for our, whatever
No
time it
problem.
takes them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Moss Adams audit, right?
Moss Adams,
Right.
yeah,
And right now you're using HMW, right?
right.
Yeah.
And we've had them for years. I've been with Extension for just almost 26 years now, and this is who we've had do it most of that time. They are no longer going to be doing any municipal audits.
Oh, they're not? Okay.
So I got to find somebody else.
We should
Okay,
be,
we
we
can
should
work
be
with
able to do
you on
that.
that.
That sounds great. Perfect.
Brad?
Well, thank you, Cheryl.
Yes,
It's
John?
kind of a good idea to mix up auditors.
Yeah, it is.
Like on a 3 to 5 year rotation or something like that, so.
Yeah,
I know it's hard to find them, but.
It is hard, and I mean, you guys know with our budget's so tight, and the cost just keeps going up and up,
Yeah.
and so I'm hoping to be able to do something about that to where we can, I understand with HMW, they are short-staffed, like we all are, and so they are just not able to do this anymore, so.
If you get somebody like Moss Adams, they can rotate the people who
Right, yeah,
initiate the audit inside of their
Yep.
organization, and that's as good as.
because they're big, they're
Yeah.
all over the state, so,
Yeah, I don't think Moss Adams is going anywhere either.
no.
I think they'll be around. We should be able to get that included in there, though. We'll figure something out. And we'll get these
Perfect.
signed for you and get them to you.
Okay, yeah, great. If somebody just wants to, if Natasha can just give me a call, I'll come by
Yeah.
and get it.
Perfect.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
All right, moving forward now, 6C. Ted, I think this is yours.
Yeah. Basically, the Curry County employment application was in need of an update. It came to the attention of staff that some key items in the application were being missed by applicants. A few staff members created a new application in hopes that it will be easier for the applicant to complete entirely and for human resources to view when receiving. Personnel Rules, Article 13D dictates that all persons applying for a position shall fill out an employment application form approved by the board. Therefore, staff is bringing the new application to you for approval. We just added some more relevant terms, and we changed the format. Obviously, when I say we, I mean not me.
Yeah, and I will say, going along with this application, not only is the application current and updated, but so is the process for interviews, and I've been participating in many of them, and we're trying to bring some consistency in how we do that now, and some of the departments are really doing a great job. I know Kylie did a really good job. The road department did a really good job in some recent interviews, so we're trying to update the whole process, and I think we're making some headway there.
Yeah, I think the final step is what we've been discussing was that little in-service
Right.
portion of
Onboarding.
onboarding,
Yeah.
getting everybody familiar with all the different intricacies of county government.
Yeah, providing some actual training after the
Yeah.
employees on board and checking all those boxes.
Yeah, no, I was helping with Natasha and Ruby a bit on this application. I think it's going to be a little bit easier to navigate, and it's going to provide us with information I think that is the information that we need when we're looking at applicants. So I'm in approval.
Yep.
So we need a motion for approval.
I will move to approve.
I'll second that motion.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes 3-0. And now we'll move to item D. Ted, I think this is also yours, the approve intergovernment agency agreement with Port of Brookings Harbor.
The county implemented storm drain facilities through a catch basin that empties into the Port of Brookings Harbor. Basin number 2, that's the commercial basin down at the south end. Basically, what we're talking about is right adjacent to the motel, to whatever the name of the motel is now. It was Beachfront, Best Western.
It still is, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Beachfront, I think.
Beachfront Inn.
Okay, the intergovernmental agreement attached lays out the responsibilities that belong to both parties, the county and the Port of Brookings Harbor. Essentially, there was a catch basin built when Tuttle Creek was redirected. As I recall, Tuttle Creek used to go directly out before the motel was. It went straight out to the beach.
Yep.
That area was kind of reclaimed, and Tuttle Creek got a right angle turn right there at Boat Basin Road. And they built a catch basin, which is approximately about half the size of this room, and maybe almost as long. And Tuttle Creek runs a lot of material through there in big storms. And historically, the road department has maintained it and checked it. They basically come down with one of their wheeled excavators after a big storm event, and they remove the material. The roadmaster, Dan Crumley was really on top of that. And then when the change of the guard happened over the next course of the few years, it was overlooked, and substantial amounts of sediment went into the basin. Eventually, there was no standard operating procedure that the road department was bound by to be watching that, and Port of Brookings Harbor brought that issue to the county's attention in the form of a potential litigation. So we negotiated with them. Coincidentally, they have gotten a bunch of FEMA funding to take care of some other interbasin dredging, so they were able to remove the sediment that's built up now, and we have this agreement creates a standard operating procedure for the county to maintain and oversee the catch basin, and provides remedies in the event that the county does not do that. So it's in everybody's best interest to do that. The catch basin empties right by the haul out, and it can and has impacted the haul out to such a degree that you can't get boats out of any size unless you're on a major king tide. So that's what this agreement does.
And this agreement would conclude any further litigation?
Correct. This is the agreement that we negotiated to avoid litigation.
So Ted, years ago, I remember talking to Rich, I believe, or somebody at the port too, about that catch basin, doing some repairs to it or some changes that would make it easier to not just clean out when it's rainy. Do you remember anything like that?
Well, the remedy, the actual remedy is up Tuttle Creek, because it's not normal for basically what happened was when, as far as I can tell, when 101 was built across the harbor bench, they redirected a bunch of the smaller water courses, and they put them all they kind of concentrated them, which resulted in, you'll notice if you go to the harbor bench today, you'll see most of those big creeks that run across the bench are like 30 feet deep. They've been, the water level, the water flow has increased so much because of the focusing of that and the building up of urban density and so forth, that it's created some pretty big erosion issues. This particular case, though, the stuff that comes out of that
Silty.
it's a shaly substance. It's not. I think it's fill, and there's a lot of stuff up there. There's a lot of stuff on the harbor bench that's fill, especially in the northern end of it. Like, for example, what's going on behind the old shopping center right now. There's a lot of stuff in there that's
Thrown away, yeah.
A lot of stuff like carpet and other things that shouldn't be in fill. So that's all coming home to roost. You'll for example, the stuff that's coming out of that creek right now, the one where the big sinkhole was a couple of years ago. I was down there looking at the shopping center deal, so I started looking. I went down because I love this stuff, so I was looking at the creek that runs. There's a culvert that runs all the way through that basin, comes out through Portside Suites.
Yep.
And the culvert's pretty much shot, and somebody did an outlaw fix in there where it's a I want to say it's like a 4 or 5 foot culvert, and it rotted, and they cut it back, and they stuck a 2.5 foot in there. So I just saw that was revealed the other day. So that's a huge, major problem. But if you look at the material that's coming through there, it's actual material that was put the sinkhole to fill it. So it's not native material either. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the water courses that affects that whole area. So this is the way, if originally before the catch basin was built, there was a stepping pond farther up Tuttle Creek back behind Driftwood RV Park. It was actually on Driftwood RV Park from what I could see of the records, and that worked really well. And the county would go in and they would clean out that it was a big pond, so you didn't have to do it very often, did it once a year. So you let it fill up all winter and then they go clean out. But
If you go way, way back, there was a bat factory down there.
yeah, I remember
And
that.
it was a big pond.
Right.
Yeah, and they used, so that tan oak bats, yeah.
Yep. I always wanted one.
I'm dating myself. It's way back.
So anyway, that's the story on that.
All right, any further discussion? Then I
Make a
need-
motion to approve the IGA with the Port of Brookings Harbor.
I'll second that.
So motion and a second, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, passes 3-0. And moving on to discussion action item E, which is the item that Ted added.
So basically, this is, it was asserted by the union that this kind of all arose, as I recall, out of the IT disaster, and there was so much discord, and they were trying to get things covered. Dispatch was being worked in violation of their contract because we were limited staff, and they stepped up and made the and made the sacrifice. But we're modifying the agreement so that we can be in conformance. We've changed the hours in accordance with what the Teamsters wanted, but we've modified that as well, and we've changed the way that they were being staffed. So part of this also is we're going to be reimbursing some of those staff members for hours that they weren't getting paid for. So there will be a cost to it, but they worked, so they should be paid.
This is information, so no motion needed.
No motion needed, just need to sign the agreement
Okay.
as far as I can see, so.
Okay. Any further discussion on this, Jay? All right, that concludes discussion action items, so we move to elected official updates, and I don't see any elected officials here, although Dave Barnes did send me a message just before the meeting and said that he had planned on attending, but he was feeling poorly, so he wouldn't be here, and he did not have any significant update for tonight. So moving on to commissioner updates. So I'm first on the list, and I know that this will most likely be played. Some people in the community will watch it. So I would really encourage anybody that is interested in the fair to fill out an application, apply for the fair board. We have 3 openings right now, and we could, I'd just like to see a lot more applicants put in so we can have a very diverse board. And I know issues pertaining to the fair come up frequently, and this is an opportunity for someone to have a voice and make an impact on that fair board. So the applications are due. I think we need to have them in by the 10th, so there's only a few more days. And if anybody is interested, I would really hope that they would apply. That's all I have. John?
So this morning, or this afternoon actually, in Crescent City, I attended the BACRA board, the Border Coast Regional Airport Authority Board meeting, and I'm happy to announce that we have picked a new carrier. Advanced Air out of Hawthorne, California, will take over from Contour Air March 17th, in a few months, and they're going to offer the same flights as Contour does now. There'll be flights from Crescent City to Oakland, but they also are going to offer flights from Crescent City to LA, actually the Hawthorne, so the LA basin, and they'll land in Hawthorne, California, which is like really close, like 5 miles from LAX, and so you could fly into Hawthorne, and they will shuttle you to LAX if you wanted to catch a flight. So it's an up-and-coming airline that is really top-notch, and so just another option out of Crescent City that is going to really be a benefit. So it was a good meeting. We vetted them very well, and look forward to that. So that's all I have.
Jay?
Is there, just a question on that, is it ever on the horizon that there will be a direct from Crescent City to Portland? That's one of the biggest things I get requested.
Yeah.
When I was the airport manager for Brookings, we don't have any commercial flights, but there's a
Right.
lot of people who ask, and they get Brookings, South Dakota mixed up a lot, right? So they call. But that was one of the most requested asks. Is that ever on the?
No, it's not. And, since it is Crescent City's airport, and we're in that, it's a joint GAPA, Joint Participation Authority or whatever, but, and we're in that, but, Crescent City uses a lot because the tribes, Elk Valley and Smith River, they all go to Sacramento. So they fly to Oakland and then
Jump over to Sacramento.
Yeah, jump over to Sacramento. And so LA's is the big one, to add that was a big one for California. But, we're Oregonians, so we think, I would like Portland too, but
Sure.
it's not, but, and when they come, we can even have Advanced Air or some of their representatives come, and we could, talk to them about that.
Yeah. Because it's a regional. We're on a regional. They're our regional airport.
Yep.
And so I would hope that maybe we could at least look at possibilities in the future. For me, in terms of comments, I think one thing we should possibly look at is getting back on our Commissioner County goals. Right? We started off last year pretty strong, and then, we kind of got derailed with the cyber thing and then fires and et cetera.
But there have been some accomplishments towards those goals.
Tons.
We should address what those are, and
So I was going to say,
Yeah.
no pressure, but, next meeting, maybe a state of the county address.
I think it's a good idea.
So we can kind of, get that out and then start developing our annual goals from there. And then I just wanted to give an update on and one of my tasks was getting the rules of order dialed in. So the goal for me is hopefully to get this on for our next meeting to have you guys review what those could look like. Get the new year started off with those. So other than that, not much.
Yeah, and I'd like to give a more detailed reorganization update too. And what our actual employee numbers are, what some of the cost savings has been associated with the reorganization, and just a more detailed accounting of that would be good, I think.
Agreed. So I've been studying it hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a big mountain to climb, in terms of county operations, financially and practically. So, and we're going to have to figure out how to best mesh those two together. I think the sooner we start this discussion,
Yeah, and I know the reconciliation has moved forward. We're at, I think, June. We have a budget committee meeting in February. so we'll know even more by then. And, but we're going to have some very difficult decisions to make financially very soon.
Correct. Nope, nothing else.
All right. Always cheery.
Yes.
Your updates, always look forward to them. All right, there is no executive session, so if there's no other business, then I will adjourn this meeting at 6:33. Thank you, everyone.